Now I'm going to show you this recipe for beef tacos, which is the reason I'm wanting to show you this is it's a super quick and easy recipe. It's very budget friendly and can be made on one of those nights where you don't have a lot of time or you can't be bothered cooking something more elaborate with ingredients you might possibly already have on hand, and can substitute a few ingredients around if you want to. So I'll just get started. Um, so the first thing we are going to do is grate some cheese. So if you already have grated cheese or you're not going to be using cheese, skip this step. I'm just popping in 200 grams of cheese, putting the lid on and grating that for 3 seconds. I need a spatula. I'm just going to set that aside. Oh, show you. So the cheese is all grated there. If you want it finer, you can do it a bit longer or a higher speed, but I like that texture. That's good. I'm just going to set that aside because the next thing tells you to transfer it into a bowl and clean and dry the bowl because you don't want cheese remnants while we're going to be cooking the recipe because that will bake onto the stainless steel. So do clean and dry your bowl after grating cheese. But I'm actually switching bowls because I have two, lucky me. And I'm using the bowl that I just made taco seasoning in. So I milled all my spices to make my own taco seasoning, and then we just carry on with this recipe. So adding in 2 cloves of garlic, and we are going to chop that. Lost my measure cup. I will use this one. Don't know what I've done with that. So another 3 seconds. And we're going to add our onions now, which you can see how well that garlic is chopped. So the recipe asks for onion chopped in 3 to 4 centimeter wedges. I hate chopping onions, so I'm going to make the Thermomix do it for me. But for this one and any recipe you're using the high heat mode, you have to remember they do want chunks because high heat mode doesn't like finely ground onion or a lot of the moisture coming out of the onion. So I'm just going to do this on a very low speed so that I get chunks of onion rather than mincing it like I might in some other recipes. So I'm just going to show you how in any recipe you can go out of it. So here it's telling me to add wedges. So I'm going to press home and just manually chop those onions on speed 4. 4 to 5 seconds, kind of until you can hear that it's done. Just have a look. Yeah, it looks pretty good. And because after we cook this, we are going to, I might do it a bit longer actually. We are going to chop this again after it's cooked. Okay, I'm confident that will be good. I'll put you back to where you were. Okay, great. So our onion is chopped in big chunks, so high heat will like it. And we're adding some oil, and I'm just using the scales to weigh in 20 grams of oil. With high heat, they do want you to make sure you use the right amount. If it doesn't detect the right quantity of ingredients and the fact that it wants that much oil, you might get a message saying, no, you haven't done the right thing. So do just kind of try and stick to the recipe there. This time it wants our splash guard. So put that on, and that is going to sizzle away for 4 minutes. Okay, so that has finished, and it smells really good because the onion's being sauteed. You can have a look now, you can see all the steam coming up there. So now we are going to, I'm just going to scrape it down. But now it's going to chop those onions finer so that we can carry on with the recipe. Obviously it wanted the larger size to saute nicely, but now that it's sauteed, we want it finer. So in goes our measure cup and just 4 seconds of chopping. Okay, so now we're going to be adding our beef in 2 different lots. So you can see the chopped onion there. So I'm putting in 250 grams of minced meat. Now, one way of saving money is, even though this recipe only uses 500 grams, I bought the kilo packet because it's cheaper to buy in bulk. And then you can package up what you don't use, the other half, in the freezer or the fridge for another meal. Okay, perfect. And we want to add some oil, which I started to put away. And our splash guard goes back on again because this is going to be using high heat. And that's it. So while that's going, you've got a few minutes. This will take 5 minutes. So during that time, I'll just show you actually. I'll bring this closer. During that time, if you go to these 3 dots up the top next to the preview button, you can look at the whole recipe detail, so you can look ahead and get out what else you need. So I'm going to need to get out tomato paste, water is easy, taco seasoning, and then I can start getting my salad ingredients ready if I want to. So I know I've got 5 minutes to do that. The other thing, if you just want to see the next step, is you can just press preview, and you can keep doing that till it shows you steps you want to see, and when you're ready, just press back to the bookmark. This step's really easy. All we're going to be doing is transferring it into a bowl so that we can cook the next batch of mince. You can I don't know if you can hear it still sizzling in there, even though it's off the heat now. Okay. And what I will say is, I did get lean mince, so there wasn't a lot of fat in there. So the bowl has a little bit started to brown. Don't stress too much about the browning of the bowl. It can come off in the next step, but just use your spatula to kind of loosen it a little bit before you carry on to the next step. Get that last little bit. Okay, so adding in more mince. And more oil, and so we're just repeating that step. Now, if you're not making beef tacos, but you want sauteed high heat minced meat, you can just come in and use this recipe for the minced meat section and then get out of it for the rest. That's something I've done a few times where I just want high heat minced meat because it does a really good job of it. I don't know if you can, maybe it's better up there, see the browning of the meat. I know it's mixed with the onions right now, but it does a good job of holding it together, and it's really good flavor with that caramelization in it. So you can just hack into the recipe and just use that part if you're using mincemeat for a different kind of recipe that doesn't have the high heat involved. So that's another tip as well. We want some more oil, and maybe I should do a little extra knowing that it's lean mince. I did 25 instead of 20. See how that goes. Not a big deal, as I said, if it caramelizes in. That's all just a bit more extra flavor. Okay, that is ready, and we're going to add, you see now that mince is nicely cooked. Without the onions, it looks very different to the other bowls were. I'm just going to check and make sure all the caramelization is off. I don't know if you can see, but just if you scrape along the bottom a bit, yeah, that looks really good. So we're going to add in the other batch with all the onions and everything. Okay. So now we want some tomato paste. And I'm skipping the water because I actually don't like it very runny. I've made it with the water before and it was too runny in the end. I think because the mince has extra liquid, like the cooking liquid in it. I don't want the extra water. But what I am going to add is, this is just my own thing to help it stretch further, is a tin of black beans that I've just rinsed off in the simmer basket. We like the flavor of having beans in it too. So I'm skipping the water. You can do that in recipes. You don't have to put everything in. And now it's asking for 20 to 30 grams of taco seasoning. I'm just going to do that on the 20 side because I think it's very strong with too much for my kids. I especially have one who really does not like spice, and that means pepper. So, yes. And then we put the simmer basket on top for cooking. So that's just going to cook for 3 minutes and it's ready to serve with your ingredients. So I just wanted to show you, well, not really that exciting, but during that time I've cut up some lettuce, tomato, and I was about to cut up some avocado. I've got the cheese that we grated earlier here as well. And one thing, I am serving it with coriander today because I happen to have some coriander. If I don't have it, I don't bother because we're trying to be easy. But one thing I'll show you is I've had this. This is another thing about, it is saving money because you're cutting out waste, is these vacuum seal containers. I have had this bunch of coriander that was due to be used definitely a week ago, but I've had it in this vacuum seal container. So you just put your food in and then use the mix shop has these, the vacuum seal thing. The other thing I'm going to do with the other half of my avocado is put it in, this is a vac seal bag that comes with it as well, and you can use the vac sealer with it. So it just means you're cutting out waste because you're letting your food last longer in your fridge till you need it. And so all you have to do is turn it on and wait for the little nozzle to pop, and you know that the air's out. So that's just popped just then. I can show you what I mean. Maybe that little nozzle there has gone in. It's inverted instead of being out, and that's how I knew it was ready. So just got out all the oxygen. That's just another little thing about cutting out waste and saving money. And yeah, I'll just let this finish cooking. That has finished. So we have our beef taco mix all in here. It's made a good amount. It's about a liter's worth of taco mixture. So I would just get my wraps, put a bit on, and you can make your own wraps in the Thermomix as well. And I haven't tonight. I had a packet of wraps that I've been wanting to use, so I haven't done that tonight. But just layering on my mix, adding my cheese, and then it's whatever else you want to add. So some lettuce, tomato. You can do this neater than I'm doing it. We want some avocado. And this one will be for Zach, and he doesn't like sour cream, so I won't put sour cream on this one. But that's our burrito mix there. I'm sure you all know how to wrap a burrito, but just bottom up first, down the two sides. Nom, nom, nom. Very good. Enjoy.